Are we paying the insurance companies too much? Is 30% off the top too much? Why aren't we doing a better job of requiring people who are supposed to have insurance to have the insurance? What about some of these consultants that I've talked to Fema about that you could persist in hiring? They're thieves.
Yes, sir. So
none of this has been addressed.
All good points. Look forward to having further discussion with you on all of it. I know how important the National Flood Insurance Program is to your state. Over the past 16 years, there have been 260,000.
But I want you to understand, Mr. Morrison, because I'm going to get cut off. In my state, we're not talking about a bunch of wealthy homeowners who have a second and third beach house. These are working people. They get up every day, they go to work, they obey the law, they try to do the right thing by their kids, they try to save a little money for retirement. Their biggest investment is in their home, and now you're doing this to them without explaining it to them?
This will
and we wonder why Congress and the federal government ranks and polls right up there with skim milk?
What's up, everyone? I'm glad you're here because today's headline is a big one, especially if you own a home. Senator John Kennedy just grilled FEMA on some wild flood insurance hikes, and trust me, this is a story you need to hear.
Now, I need you to explain to the policyholders of America right now, not within gauzy platitudes, no disrespect, Mr. Administrator, but I feel strongly, because you're not waiting. You're going to pull the trigger in August. I need you to explain to them this epiphany that FEMA's had, and how if you look at a particular property, you're able now to assign with specificity and accuracy flood risk when all these years you did it wrong. Tell me what you did wrong, and tell me now why it's going to be accurate.
So fundamentally, the methodology is different. Previously, we looked at rating policies based on a zone.
I get that part. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I only have 5 minutes. I get the part. You're saying I can look at Senator Brown's property now that we've had this epiphany, and we've talked to consultants, and know specifically on his property what the risk is. How? What new factors are you considering? How are you going to do it?
We don't have much time, and I would just point you to the document that we put on the website that in essence is the same as an insurance rate filing that a private insurance company would provide to a state insurance commissioner that would be able to validate the methodology associated with the rates that they were going to charge. So I would.
How are you going to do it?
So that document shows how, and explains how we do it. We, in essence, the simplified form would be, we're using 3 different commercially available CAT models.
So let's get right into it. FEMA just dropped this thing called Risk Rating 2.0, promising to make flood insurance rates more accurate. Sounds great, until you look closer. Kennedy called the rollout a tire fire, and honestly, he's got a point. Here's why. FEMA says they can now predict flood risk for every home in America, but they're not showing their math.
We've developed 2.
Who developed the models?
One of them is AIR, one of them is CoreLogic, and the other is CAT risk. Combine that with 2.
Has the public, well, I'm sorry, go ahead, excuse me.
Combine that with 2 government-developed, FEMA-developed CAT models, and then we added replacement cost information that we get from CoreLogic that all the regular insurance companies
Let me stop
use.
you because I got 30 seconds, and I'm sorry, Mr. Morrison, I really apologize. I'm going to ask the chairman to hold another hearing on this. Okay, you've got some consultants, and they've developed models. I get that part. They haven't been tested. We haven't been, you've done no rule. You've done no public comment. Nobody has been allowed to weigh in. Policyholders have no idea what you're talking about. You know what I've discovered about consultants and predicting the future? For every consultant, there's an equal and opposite consultant. And oftentimes, they're both wrong. And a lot of them their accuracy is about as good as those late-night psychic hotlines on TV. And you've done this in secret.
Yeah.
And it's not right.
Well, sir,
we don't know whether you've considered other alternatives. As Senator Menendez, I'm almost done, Mr. Chairman, as Senator Menendez talked about. Are we paying the insurance companies too much? Is 30% off the top too much? Why aren't we doing a better job of requiring people who are supposed to have insurance to have the insurance? What about some of these consultants that I've talked to Fema about that you could persist in hiring? They're thieves.
No public feedback, no open explanation, just new numbers that could boost your premiums by up to 80%. Imagine opening your next bill and seeing that. It gets even sketchier.
Currently low-value homeowners.
80% of my people are going to see
Currently
an
low-value
increase.
homeowners are subsidizing high-value homes. This program addresses the concern that you have.
But you got to
that you
explain
should-
why, Mr. Morstead.
Back to the cat
There's a lot of
model.
distrust of Washington. You've got to explain why. You can't hide your consultants. You've got to be in front of God and country and policyholders. You've got to say, this is the methodology. Now let's test it through debate.
So let's clear the consultant issue up, first of all. FEMA's been working on this for 5 years, thousands of hours. It's probably not a well-known fact, but FEMA has some of the best flood catastrophic actuaries in the country.
Then we ought to test them in public.
They are top-notch.
Then they ought to be
addition,
tested
with
in
top
public.
data
They ought to be
experts.
cross-examined.
In addition to, we did use 3 cat models, the same cat models the reinsurance industry uses to price their product.
Then why is FEMA trying to hide all
We're not hiding.
Please wrap up.
We're not hiding
Answer,
anything.
Senator Kennedy.
I told you he was going to cut me off. Then the FEMA shouldn't hide. They shouldn't hide your work. Show your work.
We've posted
Show your
more
work.
information on the website than what's ever been posted before.
Kennedy pressed FEMA about outside consultants, like a firm called Milliman, helping set these new rates. When he asked how much Milliman got paid, FEMA couldn't even answer.
What private company is that?
The Milliman,
Milliman.
yeah, and they didn't spearhead this. They worked for FEMA in helping us make sure that we are in line with the way that a private sector company would go about achieving a modern, risk-based, actuarially sound rating system.
Right. And how much did Milliman charge FEMA?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Was it 10 million?
I'll have to get back to you.
You don't know?
I will get back to you.
Okay. Was it more than 10 million?
I'm not going to guess, sir.
Oh. Okay.
And insurance companies, they're under gag orders not to talk about the details. Kennedy nailed it when he said, for every consultant, there's an equal and opposite consultant, and a lot of them are wrong. So, why all the secrecy? But here's the real gut punch. This isn't just politics, it's about people. Most Louisianans aren't living in mansions on the beach. They're regular folks, and their house is everything. If these premiums go up, some could lose their homes. FEMA says don't worry, 2/3 will see lower rates. But with no data to back it up, who can believe that? Bottom line, FEMA's making huge changes with zero transparency. Kennedy wants accountability, and honestly, so should you. What do you think? Should Congress step in? Drop A in the comments if you're fired up about this. For more deep dives and hot news, hit subscribe. I'll keep you in the know, one headline at a time. See you in the next video.